stream. Trying to learn is in the air. These ideas are all in the air. I'm offline. No. What? I gotta refresh probably. I was online for 1 second. That's it. I was offline. All right. So the lighting's terrible. Karen's playing a game, and when she comes back in, she'll change all the lights, I guess. I just turned the lights on. So I have a glowing, warming glow. I don't look that bad. I mean, I don't look Trump orange, but I'm trying. Trying is the first step to failure. Yeah. Refresh again, because I like refreshing. Hopefully you guys saw the commentary today. I did over 6 hours. Hooray for Ben. Also, etc. Man, what's going on here? Yeah. Welcome to the chat room. What about the jungle? We got fun and games. All right, let's see. That's nonsense. And that's nonsense. Okay. All right. We're going to be on Chess TV in about 5 minutes. Everybody had a long day, especially me. Yeah, but we had NVL come on, and Jeffrey Xiong, and Vidit. Those were some good guests. Yeah, I told you guys about Jeffrey Xiong, and you were like, you idiot, Jeffrey Xiong's no good. Jeffrey Xiong's going to lose in the first round, which he had a buy-in, and the second round, and the third round. And I'm like, how could he lose every round? I mean, how's that possible? He's lost in the first round. So you guys were just being silly. Trying to learn, gifted a sub. Good. Now you're number one, because this is Tuesday, and I didn't stream yesterday. So you're the number one kind of, sub-giving gifter of the year, so forth. Yeah, I look a little, I don't know, orange. Maybe I'm just orange. Oh, I am orange. Damn. Yeah. Maybe I'm in low def, etc. Golarian Kaidanov is correct. Well, my dark horse is always Jeffrey, but he's not going to win. But I mean, I think the winner of the World Cup is going to either be Magnus or Grishuk. I don't think Grishuk's a dark horse, but I would be very surprised if somebody else won. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of them won, but I'd be surprised if anybody else won. If I could take Grishuk and Carlsen or the other 30 players, I would take Grishuk and Carlsen. Although maybe there's 16 players left. Maybe I'm crazy. There could be 16 players. I think there's 32 players left. Warelium subscribe. Good. Yeah. That's right. Tomorrow is a test day. I guess it's like a cricket or something. Yeah, it's a rest day tomorrow. Yeah, Jeffrey Xiong is good, but only I know it. I'm the guy who brought you MVL. I'm the guy. I knew MVL was the greatest ever when he was, all right. And I was like, no, he's the greatest ever. That he went from 30th in the world when I said that to 3rd. And I was like, see? Yeah. Also, the first time I met Anand in 1986, I gave him the nickname God. And I said he would be 2,700 FIDE, which at that time was good. Now it's terrible. And he was 2405. So when somebody's 2405 in 1986, they're not going to be 2,700 FIDE. But I knew he would. I didn't know he'd be 5-time world champion, but I did call him God. I mean, that's a good nickname. That nickname stuck. Some people called him God after I did. They were like, all right, sounds good. So I can recognize talent. MVO, Anand, and now Jeffrey Xiong. Those guys are good. And yeah, and so forth. Yeah, Vishy's great. Grishuk, you didn't spell right. That's right. Argentina couldn't believe it. Let's bask in the warming, glowing, warming glow. Yeah. And so forth. And when Karen comes in, I hope she wins because she'll be so mad at how orange I am. Saren or Jeffrey? I don't know. That's a good question. I've been saying for years Saren's better than Praggnanandhaa, but unfortunately for my, predictions, Saren had to play Andreykin. So that's not fair. Yeah, Andreykin is obviously a favorite against either one of them. So Saren got a tougher pairing than Praggnanandhaa did. So he lost, which is normal. Yeah, Anish losing 2-0 was surprising. Thanks for the $9.99 from Council of Rooks. Yeah. Thirsty Monster is rating with a party of 50. If you're thirsty, I got Perrier and I got coffee. So, it's like, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It's chocolate and peanut butter. Praggnanandhaa is playing MVL next round. And Jeffrey Xiong is playing Vidit. I mean, India obviously has a lot of good players, but Praggnanandhaa and Saren are quite young compared to, Vidit and Adhiban, Hare Krishna, Anand. Man, lots of good players. Yeah. Yeah, basically, Andreykin's a casual super GM. That's right. Yeah. Well, the problem is, if you're from Eastern Europe, specifically Russia, but other Eastern European countries, if you're 2,700, you're eighth in line. Pinky Jim, 300 centidues. If you're 2,700 FIDE in every country in the world, except, I guess, China, the U.S., and Russia, then you're, everybody knows who you are, and they're like, wow. But if you're 2,700 in Russia, you're like number 9. God damn. I mean, Russia got some good players, and the U.S. has good players. Obviously, Fabi and Wesley are relatively new on the scene, and, got Naka and Jeffrey Xiong and Dominguez and Ray Robson and probably 3 or 4 people I forgot. Man, some good players. So, yeah. Like, if your rating was exactly 2,700 FIDE in the U.S., you'd be number 6 or 7. Shanklin, I forgot. I think you'd be 7. Let's see, you got Caruana, Naka. Jeffrey, Dominguez, Shanklin. Yeah, so if you were exactly 2,700 FIDE and you were American, you'd be 7th. In most countries, you'd be first by quite a bit. So Andreykin doesn't get, and Dublov and, Tomaszewski and Arashchenko, although he might be Ukrainian. I think he's Ukrainian. Although Karyakin was Ukrainian until he wasn't. And then Svidler and Grishuk and Kramnik. And, I'm probably missing like 5 2750s. So, yeah, when you're just 2,700 like Andreykin, people are like, truth hurts. But, yeah, obviously, those guys can... the car is 2,700, yeah. Trying to learn gave 500 centidues from in the air. He's giving his money away while he's flying. Warren Eagle subscribed. Trying to learn gave another 100 centidues. You all right over there? Clem Cassio subscribed. The ring came off my pudding pan. I can almost read. The ring came off my pudding can. Take my penknife, my good man. But Main Street's all cracked and broken. Sorry, the mob has spoken. Monorail, 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 mono. Don't. Oronian's not American yet, but a Copian is. Now, this is like a Mr. Burns scenario. Welcome, Chess TV people. We got Vachier-Lagrave. Okay, that's a Akopian. Then we have Vladimir Akopian. Okay, very hard to confuse the two since they have different first names and different last names. But that doesn't stop Mr. Burns from confusing people. Anyway, it confuses 95% of people I talk to. Whenever I say Akopian with the P, they just think Akopian. And Vladimir Akopian was like top 10 in the world at his peak. And, Vachier-Lagrave was not. They're probably the same rating now. But, Akopian's 50 and Akopian's only like 38 or something. Maybe he's 40. So, yeah. Now, the reason I gave you all that nonsense is I was shocked at the World Open. Akopian, the P, is American now. He's played for Armenia, for 50 years, and now he's playing for America. And I was like, what? So it was funny because it was big news that Aronian was changing to America, and Akopian beat him to it. So all the Armenian GMs are becoming American. You've never heard of Akopian unless, you were playing chess 20 years ago, and he was top 20 in the world. Then maybe you heard of him. But, now he's old. So he played in the World Open, and he got like 6.5 out of 9. Yeah, I'm turning yellow because I'm trying to get the Trump voters. So I figure if I'm yellow and orange, people start donating money. I'm trying. Thanks for the gift sub, Bishop Takes. Thanks for the 1,000 centidues, Pinky Jim. Thanks for the 500 centidues, Joseph Bales. Now, I'm not complaining. Thanks for the sub, Clem Cassio. I'm not complaining, but I'm guessing a lot of these donations are because of my stream today on Chess Twitch with Danny and Anand. That's what I'm guessing. It's like you guys like that, so now you're giving me money on my stream. Hey. Yertreo, 100 centidues. Yeah. So, hi to Chess TV. I got some interesting stuff to show you. I'm the one who did the lights today because Karen's playing in the tournament. I just turned the lights on. And then, it looks weird. And then Karen comes and I don't know what she does. She changes the lights and moves them. Then she's like, that's fine. I mean, I could play with the lights. The problem is I have to go play with the lights, sit down, then look, then get up. And I'm not doing that. I literally don't care. Seaburn 1985. Hooray. Is that like C. Montgomery Burn? All right. Very good. 35 gifted subs. Good. Yeah. No, I've known Vichy since 1986. And we're the kind of friends who don't keep in touch. I have a lot of friends like that. But, for example, probably the last 3 or 4 times I've seen him were in St. Louis. He was going to the Siegfried Cup. And he's supposed to go this year, but he can't get a visa. And he said on the stream, if he wants to visit his sister in Michigan, which he's done, he can get a visa. If he wants to play chess, he can't. So, COVID. Man, Anand can't get a visa. God damn. And Karpov, it took him 2 years to get a visa. He's actually in the U.S. in like a week. We're trying to get him to come here, but that seems unlikely. He will be in New Jersey at the U.S. Open if you want to see Karpov. So it took Karpov like 2 years to get a visa, and Anand can't get a visa. So yeah, Anand has family in Michigan, I think more than just his sister, and he's visited her more than once when I hung out with him because he was in town. So I went to dinner and with my brother too. Yeah, so forth. I love Adam Sandler. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Big money, big money. Wait a minute, stop. $2. Hooray. My phone's making noise. So a lot of weird things happened today. As you know, Karen goes to karaoke a lot. And I go half the time. And they have KJs there. karaoke jockeys, the people who run the karaoke. And there's like 4 or 5 of them. So depending on what night you go, you sort of know who's going to be who's running the show. And one of the guys who runs the show, his name is Nick. And there's a lot of people at karaoke who have the same name. There's 2 Karens, there's 3 or 4 Bens, and there's 3 Nicks. I mean, these are people who come all the time. So sometimes we have like a nickname. So like Karen, my wife, is Karen Badass. And the other Karen is Sexy Kitten. 1,000 Centidues, Joseph Bales. And then, I don't know what the different Bens are called. I don't know, there's like 4 of us. But anyway, my point is, there's 3 Nicks. There's Black Nick, there's White Nick, and then there's Nick. Now the third Nick, who's not White or Black Nick, I think he has a nickname, but I don't know what it is. I think. And White Nick is very tall, and he's a very good singer. He sings like in productions. He's like a professional singer. And the other one likes to sing, Black Nick likes to sing songs that Spencer likes. Like Alice in Chains and Nirvana. And he gets really loud when you're supposed to. So when you're supposed to scream in the song, he goes all out. So we like both the Nicks. Okay, now the reason I told you this whole spiel, which you're not interested in, but the reason I told you is shockingly, the very strange news we got today, the Nick that doesn't have a nickname that I know of, Karen might know his nickname, the other one, the one who's the KJ, he died in a car accident last night. And that was shocking. And I was like, wasn't he only like in his early 30s? And Karen's like, he was in his 20s. Okay, so I told Spencer, and he was like in shock, because we knew Nick pretty well. And as a consequence, or as a coincidence, I should say, in a coincidence, I took Spencer to buy a car today. So that was funny, sort of. And we were at the dealer forever. That's what happens when you buy a car. So Spencer has a car, and he's a car owner now. It's the first time he's owned a car where he's on the title, and he makes the payments, and he pays insurance. So he'll be broke soon, but still. So all that happened today, plus my 6.5 hours of commentary, and I had to wake up at S in the morning. Now I'm going to tell you a really long, interesting, boring story. That is very sad, yeah. I always felt bad for this friend of mine. He was a friend of Wes's, but I stole him a little bit. But he was mainly a friend of Wes's. He worked with Wes for 40 years at Chrysler. He's been married 2 or 3 times. He passed away when he was in his early 70s, I guess. But I knew him when he was in his 50s and 60s. And, he's like 20, 30, 40 years older than me. Probably like 25 years older than me. And a long time ago, his son died in a car accident when he was in high school. He was just in the car with other kids. And I was like, damn. And the guy had to live his whole life, knowing if one of my kids died in a car crash in high school and I had to live like 40 more years, I can't even imagine living knowing that. That's like the worst thing I've ever heard. So obviously there's worse things, but every day he wakes up, he probably thinks about it. So, so basically everybody dies is the key to this presentation. So life is sad. Now, the reason I'm thinking about all this death and destruction is I have a funny story. Yer Treo gifted 1 sub and Seaborg gifted 5 subs. Okay, good. All right. Now, let me tell you this long, boring story. My dog, Kazoo, the male dog, we have 2 dogs, he's had a thing on his snout like here. Not in his eye and not his nose, like in the middle. I would just say his nose, but it's not really. Anyway, he's had like a little bump there. So about 2-3 months ago, we took him to the vet, and the vet's like, frankly ridiculous, and gave him some like Tylenol or something. All right. So then about a week ago, I was, it was getting bigger. His posse's getting big, and his posse's getting bigger. Anyway, so Holden was like, things getting bigger. It gets bigger and smaller. So I called the vet and I'm like, it's getting bigger. So we go back, and we had been there in April. So this is July, and April's when we took him in. And the doctor's like, yeah, that's not good. Like, it should have gone away like 2 months ago. So we're gonna do surgery. We're gonna try to get rid of the whole thing, and then we're gonna do a biopsy and see if it's benign or not, and so forth. And he said it'll cost $1 billion. And we're like, all right, thanks for all the subbing and the bidding. Okay, so he has this surgery yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday, and they take most of it out. They couldn't get all of it, and they sew it up, and they're doing a biopsy, and we'll see. Okay, so they put a cone around his head because they can't scratch it or what. We have another dog too who's gonna obviously fight with him, and he's destroying the cone. Our dogs are big, so the cone's like almost in pieces, and the stitches like just about came out, like it's bleeding, and without touching it, he's big, so he's like banging his head against things. I mean, it's ridiculous. He literally doesn't care about that cone. He's like, get that cone off of me. Okay. But anyway, the reason I told you this story isn't because of that. Because I told a similar story I just told you. I probably made it a lot quicker when I was talking to Bick. Bigfoot is streams, and he works for chess.com, and he's in production. And he does the production when you see me and Anand and so forth. Okay, and Danny and all that. So I told Bigfoot this story, Wooter. I said, and then when I made it really short. I made it like a minute. And then when I was done, he said, the same thing happened to his dog, and the day that my dog had surgery was the day his dog had the cone taken off. And it was for 2 weeks. Instead of the nose, his dog had a thing on his ear, and they took it off, and they got some of the ear too, because I guess Tyson was the surgeon. And then it was benign, it turned out. He wore the cone for 2 weeks. He hated it, and they took it off. Then the dog likes to lay down now because his head's laying on something soft instead of the cone. But I like the way the day my dog had surgery, his dog was taking the cone off for like the same thing, basically. So I guess that's common, or it was lucky. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that story. Now, if the whole stream is ever put on YouTube, which it will be, then there'll be like 50 comments. Chess starts at 37:20. St. Louis Chess Club rate with a party of 389. Thank you, St. Louis Chess Club. You're the best chess club that ever lived, except for ours. Except I'm kidding. RJB, subscribe with Prime. Thank you. Thanks for the huge raid. Give a shout out to the St. Louis Chess Club. It seems very likely Karen and I will come down for either the Rapid and Blitz or the Sinkfield Cup, and hang out for a couple of days. Also, the stream today, Anand was asked if he's playing in St. Louis, and he can't get a visa, so the answer is no. Truth hurts. By the way, if you want a visa, I would think Rex could get you a visa. And the reason I say that isn't because he's Rex, although that helps. It's because, friends of the chess club is Claire McCaskill, U.S. Senator, and she's good at getting visas, if you know what I mean. Hopefully you know what I mean. So if Vichy can't get a visa, god damn. Because, obviously they want Vichy there. So I was actually surprised that, they can't just override all the COVID protocols and just make an exception for him because, Bezos can go into space, so why can't they give, Vichy a visa? Come on. Know what I mean? No, she's not Republican. She's Democrat. I'm not even sure she's still a senator. Maybe she's not a senator anymore. That would explain why maybe her term ended. It's probably likely. Yeah, what happened was usually Republicans win in Missouri, usually. But Claire McCaskill got very lucky. She ran against Todd Aitken. So Trump won Missouri easily, and and it was a split ticket. Nobody voted for Todd Akin because he was saying stuff he shouldn't say. I mean, Trump says the same stuff, but they didn't care. When Todd Akin said it, they were like, ooh, you can't say that stuff. So maybe she's not a senator anymore. That would explain, yeah. God, lost to Hawley. Jesus Christ. No wonder they can't get a visa. Yeah. $9.99 Archibald Meat Pants. Good. Now, wait a minute. Is Archibald Meat Pants, thanks for the 1 cent, Shane, is that the name Stewie gave himself or the guy that he hired in the episode where they go to Vegas and there's 2 sets of them that go to Vegas? Was it Archibald Meat Pants? Was that somebody's name? Is that the same episode? Would you recommend living in St. Louis? No. Now, here's what you could do in St. Louis. You can live in St. Louis, and I'm going to tell you why it's good. Chess Club is good. The Hall of Fame is good. That neighborhood is good. So if you're going to live in St. Louis, you have to live near the Chess Club. You have to. Just live within half a mile of the Chess Club, preferably closer. Then what's also good is Forest Park. Forest Park has no national reputation amongst random people, but it's the best park I've ever seen in the U.S. by a lot. So maybe I haven't seen every park, but Forest Park has like professional tennis courts, 2 or 3 golf courses, cricket fields, baseball, softball, handball, museums, a zoo. The zoo's one of the top 5 zoos in the country. It's free. It goes for miles and miles and miles. It's much bigger than Central Park, for example. And that's actually not far from the Chess Club. And if you're a baseball fan, they have the Cardinals. And if you like beer, I'm not saying you like beer, but that guy in Supreme Court likes beer, Brett Kavanaugh. If you like beer, then St. Louis is a good city to live in. There's a lot of places sell beer everywhere. And, you can get it cheap, too, if you want. If you don't want, get it at the Central West End. So baseball, beer, chess, Forest Park. Now, if you like pizza, don't move to St. Louis. Don't do it. If you do move to St. Louis and you like pizza, then go to Pi. P-I. Don't go to St. Louis Pizza. Don't do it. I warned you. Don't do it. If you ask me what's worse, St. Louis Pizza or Marmite, I don't know. Now, people do like Marmite, because I guess they have brain damage or something. But you can't like St. Louis pizza unless you're like brainwashed and you grew up in St. Louis. That's the only way. If you're like, if you were like taught as a little baby like St. Louis pizza, then you just don't know any better. Right? It's like religion. Yeah. Yeah, you have to go to Chicago for pizza. No, St. Louis pizza is not pizza. No, it's not better than any other pizza. No, you can name any restaurant you want, and that has better pizza than St. Louis pizza. Yeah. Nothing is worse than St. Louis pizza except maybe Marmite. Yeah. Yeah, you spelled Caesar's wrong, but I get the idea. Yeah. Nice. I don't know about McDonald's pizza, but McDonald's pizza is better. I am from Italy. From 1 to 10, St. Louis is -1 million, and Chicago pizza is like a 7.5. LJ Gonzi 999, Manmoth 1990. Thanks for the subs. Okay, now here's a problem if you're from Italy. If you're from Italy, you're a snob about food, and you just dismiss all other foods and say Italy is good. And you don't have to eat the other food. You just go, that's terrible. Italy food is good. The other food's all terrible. So you're not objective about food. You just think your food is good and every other food is terrible. You don't even have to taste the food. You could be like, there's a restaurant in Italy and it has food, and there's a restaurant somewhere else they have food. Which is better? And you would say, I haven't tasted either one, but the Italy one is better. So, I mean, you can't, they just say pizza's not pizza unless it's from Naples. If it's Neapolitan. Otherwise, it's not pizza. Now, I agree that Italian pizza is really good. I'm not arguing. But You know, I mean, pizza's pizza. Pizza tastes good. And what are you going to do? So now I'm a vegan, so I need vegan cheese on my pizza. And, you know, not so easy in Italy, but you can do it. There's vegan restaurants, especially in Rome. There's a lot of vegan restaurants. And if you buy the pizza that has no cheese, is it marinara? Marinara pizza? They make a pizza everywhere in Italy that has no cheese. That's just the way it comes. So that's fine. I had that and that was good. Yeah. Best foods. No, I mean, food is good. I mean, food tastes good. There's good food and there's bad food. And some bad food tastes good. But, you know, the problem with Italians is, you know, no food is good except ours. And people who are Italian Americans who live in New York, they're not Italian, and, you know, like that. It's, you know, very, you know, nationalistic, you know, kind of people in Italy. I'm not saying they're wrong, but, you know, you be nice about it. Okay. I've never had poutine, but there is vegan poutine. I just haven't had it. Yeah. Vegan cheese is good. It used to be bad like 5-10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, obviously pineapple on pizza tastes good if you like it. And if you don't like it, then don't get it. It's not like a yes or no question. It's like, do you like pineapple on pizza? Then get pineapple. You don't like pineapple on pizza? Don't get pineapple. It's not like an objective, like, now I like pineapple on pizza, so I get pineapple on pizza. If you don't like it, then don't. Yeah, that's fine. In Italy, they want to put as little as possible on pizza. So if you show an Italian person from Italy an American pizza that has like 6-7 items, they choke on their own rage. They're like, this isn't pizza, this is a monstrosity. So like if we improve pizza, make it better, they say we've destroyed it. So, you know, truth hurts. Yeah. There's different kinds of vegan cheese. Yeah. I think Karen's done, but not related, but Ben. Do I have shoes, jackets with leather, car with leather seats? I don't think it's any of your business. Nutritional yeast, pizza, it's ruined, love people, the Romans. Chicago pizza is thick as lasagna. Yeah, Fabiano losing, terrible. Yeah. And I was saying before that the top players are less likely to win these events than like round robins. And you guys were like, why? And I said, well, it's 2-game matches. So if you play in like a 12-player round robin and it's 11 rounds, and at some point in that tournament you have half out of 2, that doesn't matter much. You could win 5 games in a row, you know. But here, if you have half out of 2, you're out. So it's, I mean, this is tougher. Yeah. Etc. I didn't make Vichy sleep on the floor. In fact, he woke me up and he went on the floor. That was crazy. You're supposed to sleep on the floor. Yeah. By the way, when he was telling the story about when he had just one roommate the year before, I thought he was talking about Patrick Wolf. But then I realized, like, when the stream ended, it was Ray Stone. He's a FIDE master from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And the reason I remember that is, yeah, can you fix the, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Right. How did you do?
I lost.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like your position. I saw him play B4 to open up your king.
Why is it so yellow?
Okay, now, I didn't want to tell you this, but because I thought you'd be mad that you didn't see them. We had people come in, and they had to leave before your game was done. It was Coldplay. So it was all yellow. Wait, is this better or worse?
I don't know.
She's really turned the lights up. Like, I'm going to talk. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
You had a stream for me, and it was all yellow. Is that better?
I don't know.
Better, worse, the same? Better, worse? Now, Windsor in the 1970s and 80s had one of the best Chinatowns in the world. And Asian people agreed. They were like, man, they had 1 million Chinese restaurants and they were all good. And then the truth hurt. And then Detroit had a big Chinatown in the 50s and 60s. And then all the restaurants closed. And by 2005, they had 0 restaurants in Chinatown. 0. Ridiculous. I haven't looked at one chess move yet. 34 minutes of streaming. No, really, I haven't. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, we were there over 3 hours, and we signed everything. Everything was signed, and he drove the car away. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So he has a car.
I was excited.
Yeah, he's going to the thing at
Yeah,
Mazzy's.
go.
And then Shay said he's never been to Mazzy's. And I was like, me neither.
Yeah, he never goes anywhere.
Right,
without
yeah.
me.
Shay was actually selling a car. He had 2 cars, he's getting rid of one of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
The picture you sent me was funny.
Of Shay?
Yeah, because it just captured his strange
Yeah,
personality. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
He's quirky.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny. He was leaning over.
When we were buying a car, me and Spencer, we were sitting somewhere, I saw a karaoke person like walking around. And then, listen to this.
Why does it look so bad?
Yeah, I don't know. But listen, the guy
I'm trying to...
who was our salesperson, he knew we were chess people because we told him. And he said, oh, that guy there who works here, like at the front desk, he used to be a chess teacher for some organization. We were like, well, I guess chess kid. He did it for like 3 years and now he works at the car dealership. Yeah.
Hey, go into the
And by the way, the guy who sold us the car salesman, he was 20. 20? You could be 20 and sell cars?
We need to focus.
20?
I gotta get to the net tonight.
20?
So this
We're-
didn't work.
All right, so configure video,
Yeah, and then go.
and then brightness,
No.
camera control.
Is
All right.
there saturation?
Is there saturation? Yeah.
Turn that down a little bit.
Is this
See what
down?
it does. Yeah, that looks a little better. Yeah.
Okay.
No, not
What-
quite so much. Oh, right there.
There?
Or
So
no,
it was at 120 and now
let's
it's
do that.
85.
We do it the other way. Slightly less again. Can you do less?
Do you want the number higher or lower?
To the left. Slide it to the left.
That's the left.
All right. Slightly more. Slightly more. Slightly more. That's good.
I went from 128 to 64. That's a lot.
Let's do that.
All right.
That's a quick one. Let's find.
Yeah, but now when I stream in a couple of days, it'll be a disaster.
Who knows?
Thanks, Joseph Bales. People are giving me money today because of the chess.com stuff. It has to be because of Ishy and stuff.
Well, they like
Right. They don't care about this stream, but
They
they.
like chess.
Yeah. Is that better? Yeah.
That's better. Come on. It's not perfect. I gotta go.
I like that utterly milked.
Gotta go to.
He said, what do you call a German guy that loves French fries? Pommes frites. Pommes frites.
All right. Did I say it's better?
I prefer this stream. 12 years, GM norms, buying norms. I learned. Nobody answered. They're just saying nonsense.
Well, it is better. Okay, I gotta go.
They say my jaundice left. You're going to the thing?
Yeah, I have to go.
But you're going to the thing. I don't think they start till 10. Although I guess it's half an hour drive. Should I go too, or should I come home and take care of the dogs? I don't want to go to the dogs and then go to the thing because it's the other way.
Oh yes, either way. I don't know. Whatever you-
I've never been there, so I'm confused.
It's in Milton.
I know where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this is better.
All right, first person who answers the question right, who's not a sub, gets a sub. And when they answer, you can answer too, but I want them to answer first. Okay?
Okay, what's going on?
Okay, ready?
I gotta go.
Okay. Milton is the city. What is milt? What is milt? It's a word. What does it mean? Milt. M-I-L-T. Milt. First answer gets a free sub. Who's not a sub already? Okay, and then when they answer, you can answer. Do you know or you don't know? Don't say the answer. Do you know or you don't know? I don't even know what you're saying. But what?
Is it a made-up thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not a made up thing. Yes. Well, that guy's a sub. So, yeah. All right, they've already answered. I don't know if there's a right answer, but it's fish sperm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's milt. I played it in Scrabble once and it got challenged, and I said it's fish sperm. And they got look. All right. Yeah. You got to know really important stuff. Beer, Vichy, and anon. Fish fluid. What do you think? Should I give it to him?
I don't know. I gotta go.
I'm going to give fish fluid. I'm going to give it to him. Yeah. If you don't like it, too bad. Bye, sweetie.
Oh, man, not leaving it.
Bye. Oh.
Bye. So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. What do you think I should do?
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I'll decide afterwards.
You just let me know either way.
Yeah, I'll decide afterwards. Yeah. I haven't looked at one move yet, so I'm busy.
Are you streaming?
Well, the games are done. Yeah, I mean, so never. I mean, I'm never going to end.
Okay, I'll say bye when I'm leaving.
Yeah. All right. Dun, dun. Pizza, caviar. All right. Does Carissiev have potential to be women's world champion? No. American? No. All right. Let's do it. To it. Fractions, that is. Okay, so this is MVL versus Paravyan, and this was the Armageddon game. Now, something happened you don't necessarily know about, which I'll tell you now. We were analyzing the game before MVL was on the stream. We were like getting him on the stream. Thanks for the 1,000 centidues. And when we were analyzing the game like quickly before MVL came, I was like, D takes E4. What kind of move is that? Ridiculous. Okay. In this position, Danny said, he's looking stuff up. He says, Knight H6 is theory, and black is okay because, bishop G4 and queen D5 and knight F5. So anyway, he played knight F6, and we were like talking to each other, but MVL could hear us because he was, he's getting his mic, he's getting mic'd up. And Danny was like, oh, knight H6 is better than knight H6 is better than knight F6. And MVL said, oh, thanks, I don't know. Okay. Then when he was on the stream and we were analyzing the game, Danny said, hey, were you kidding when you said knight F6, isn't... And he said, of course I know knight H6. He started laughing. He was just joking. He was like insulted that we didn't think he knew that this was theory and this is the right move. This is like still part of his preparation. So... I still rather have white, but, if after like knight c5, you play queen d5, you pin the knight, you go here. In the game, black just had nothing because the bishop's blocked, so white just gets in d4 right away, and black doesn't have enough compensation. And it's just white's a pawn up. There's no compensation here. Okay, so he gave up another pawn with c5. So he took it. All right. Now white's up 2 pawns. And then here he had really good technique. He played bishop e3, suggested by Anand. And here Anand thought bishop d4. But then after he played queen f2, he thought that was better. The engine doesn't agree. The engine says bishop here, pawn here. But we all like this move because we want to play here and keep the queens on so we can get at black's king. So white's still winning here, but maybe less so. I don't know. Okay, now in this position, black made a very bad move. And, okay, if Anand wasn't on, I would have been trash talking a lot. But, I don't want to bother Anand when he's being nice to come on the show. Now, if Anand's at my house, then I'm going to bother Anand. And then some. Thanks, Toady13. Black played a very bad move here. Very bad. And you know what it is, because you watch my stream. Played f6. Frankly, terrible. Now, f6 is the obvious move because if black doesn't play f6, e5, then white's just going to win. White's got 4-1 on the queen side, and here they come. b4 and, b5 wins. So, but if black plays this, then black's got something. Unfortunately, after this, MVL found a brilliant move. And it's a blitz game, so that's sort of surprising. And the reason it's brilliant is the queen defends this, and the queen and rook are lined up for a skewer, so c6 works. If you take with the bishop, bishop b6 wins the exchange. And if you take with the queen, which is what happened, then you take this. And in this position, black blundered. Black's losing, but he made a move that loses instantly. Instead of like losing in 30 moves, he lost in like 2 moves. And that's because he didn't see what white's threat was. It looks like white's going to double up on the bubble up, which obviously is good. But there's a bigger threat. And the only move here is rook f8. There's no other move. that defends the f-pawn. But he played here, and you will know MVL's name is Mon Dieu when you see this move. God damn. Yeah, and then, come on. You kidding me? Now, of course, Paravyan, who plays on chess.com and Title Tuesday and Arena Kings all the time, he doesn't know my rules. I don't even want to stream anymore. I'm so mad. How could he not know my rules? First rule, never play f6. Second rule, always sack the exchange. Now, come on. If he knew those rules, this stuff wouldn't happen. And now the engine says +9. Because, it's pretty good. Okay, so resigns is the correct move. He played here. And MVL said it correctly. He said, well, every move wins, so I wanted to win the cleanest. So only one legal move. Check. Only, well, okay, I guess you can play here, but only one legal move makes any sense. Check. Now, queen e4 is obviously absurd. King here, queen check is obviously absurd. King d7 is insane because I take the rook with check, you take, and then I skewer your king and queen. King d6 gets checkmated immediately by that, and you can't defend your rook. So the only move is king d5. There is no other move. And when MVL played queen h8 check, he analyzed this, and he saw this was winning because if you take the queen, I take your queen, and I'm up a piece. And if you take the rook, black's threatening queen e1 checkmate, but MVL had foreseen queen takes 8 as check. And now, in a very insulting and embarrassing time in David's life, the person with black, he played here. I've never been so mad. King c4, he's playing a 2770, and he plays king c4 instead of resigning. What? Are you kidding me? All right, and then he played here and he resigned, but not bad he played. I've never been so angry. I mean, that was a textbook game from MVL. He outplayed him in the opening. He outplayed him tactically. He had a couple of nice shots. And I showed this game to Filter, and they actually sent a tweet to MVL's account when they saw, c6 and rook takes b7, and they said, hey, man, nice shot. And then MVL said, quoi? And so forth. No, actually, I was really busy today. After the stream, I had to go home and take care of the dogs. My one dog had surgery. He had to go out and be fed. You have to feed him by hand because he's got the coat around his neck. Then when I did that, I had to get my son, Spencer, and take him to the car dealer. And we were there for 3 hours test driving and signing and submitting and all that stuff. And now he has a car. And then after that, we went to eat at Thai place. Me and Spencer celebrate his car. And then I came here. I prepared the stream. I got a Perrier and a coffee. And then I'm here. Isn't that a song by Alice in Chains? No, Filter. Filter. All right. Next, next. Okay, now, for the most part, I show bits and pieces of games. I don't show the whole game. I show what's interesting. Today, I had a good idea what was interesting because, I did commentary all day. All right, so this is Vidit versus Adhiban. Black's been better the whole game, including here. And, you can never take this because after DC, that's a spicy meatball. But if these pawns stay here, then black doesn't have anything. Black has to attack these pawns. So black played bishop g4. If the rook moves, queen takes queen wins the queen. If the queen takes and I take, that's really good for black. Get past c pawn on the 6th rank. And never play f3. And Anand is like, man, f3, terrible. See, he knows. Then bishop f5 and it's ridiculous bishop. So he played the excellent bishop takes d5. And Anand was like, Bishop takes d5, great. And he claimed, the engine does not agree, but I actually agree with Vichy on this one, that after bishop takes, queen takes, white is in no danger of losing. Okay, which I agree with, but the engine does not. The engine says black's better. The engine likes being ahead material. Although, when you look at the engine lines, black just moves around doing nothing. So, and he thought this was a very easy draw, no problem, etc., mainly etc. I was surprised that Anand said mainly etc. And then that's what happened, bishop d5. And then he took, and then we choked on our own rage. He made the worst move. That's the best move. Rook takes is the second best move. And he did this, losing instantly. The worst move in chess history. And Anand had no words, right? And Piper Laurie went up to Anand and said, what she said. And Anand said, do you need the words? And Piper Laurie said, yes. And if you say them, you'll never be able to take them back. And then Anand didn't say anything. Anybody get the Piper Laurie reference? Anybody? Terrible. Come on, somebody. Get that reference. Anyone? Yeah, I was giving him a situation where Piper Laurie was talking to Anand, but they don't get the reference. How'd everybody do? Big upsets? Nothing.
I don't know.
No.
Brad beat Ashley.
Yeah, I walked in on move 1 and Brad was up a lot of material. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the other games.
Okay.
So you're going to let me know?
Yeah, when I'm done streaming, I'll decide whether I go or not and surprise you or tell you or something.
Hey, the light looks fun.
It does? All right.
It's not the best.
Piper Laurie was in Twin Peaks. That is correct. That's not the reference, but yeah. Bye, sweetie. Your Treo gifted a sub. Never heard of Piper Laurie. Boo! All right, you guys are all wrong about everything, which is shocking. Piper Laurie was in one of the best films of all time, The Hustler, with Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason, George C. Scott, etc., mainly etc., and Piper Laurie, and other famous people that you haven't heard of. Anyway, it was in 1961, and Piper Laurie is dating Paul Newman. They live together, sort of, I guess. And they're having a picnic on a hill, and they're talking. And she says, I love you. And he ignores that. And then she says, I love you again. And he says, do you need the words? And she says, yes, I do. And if you say them, I'll never let you take them back. And he doesn't say anything. Truth hurts. How do you guys not know that? What do you know? Do you know anything? No. Okay. Yeah, terrible. I gave a lecture on probably Lasker, although it could have been before Lasker. It was a week or two ago. And there were gawking rabble in here watching live, like 6 of them. And I made a reference to Falling Down, and nobody had seen Falling Down. How do you have 6 guys in a room that are adults and none of them see Falling Down? That's not even possible. And that was the maddest I've ever been in my life. Ever. Yeah, terrible. Right. Exactly. Terrible. Falling Down is not good. It's fantastic. That's right. I know. That's right. Harrison Ford got it right in Star Wars. Yeah. Terrible. That's right. Why doesn't look at this? Flat, terrible, not juicy like the picture, etc. I don't know anything about Twin Peaks. However, my brother knows everything. So if you ever see my brother in the chat, MJ Feingold, he can answer your Twin Peaks questions. And Star Trek questions. The movies and the series. Yeah, he could explain Twin Peaks to you, yeah. He's the world's leading authority. Okay. I mean, this is the worst move ever, And Anand, for the first time in his life, was choking on his own rage. This move is so bad. And I have an opinion which makes no sense, but I have to have some opinion. Okay, in this position, in my opinion, I think Adhiban, for reasons that make no sense, so that's why my opinion's sort of weird, I think he only looked at this move, which is idiotic, and then this, and it's a draw, but white's better. And I think he just forgot that you don't have to take stuff. So, I mean, this wins immediately, which is what happened, and this also wins. But I think he just thought that. I don't know what he thought. Because this is forced, and then after C2, you resign. So I don't know. It's just totally nonsensical. So he played here because he has to, and then he's down a piece. And he resigned. That's the kind of blunder you guys make, not Adhiban. Adhiban's a beast. If you don't believe me, you can ask Magnus Carlsen, who tweeted the beast. Yeah. Man, you gotta have an opinion. I don't even have an opinion. Yeah. My brother knows too much about Star Trek for you plebes. He can't do it. All right, next. Okay, this was also from the Vidit Adhiban tiebreaker. This was the longest game ever played, except for one thing. Okay, now in this position, Vidit, who won the first game of the tiebreak, needs to draw or win this game, and he wins the match. And lucky for him, because of what transpired over the last 5 moves, black is completely lost. So you could take the knight this way. You can take the knight this way. You can take it with a wiffle ball bet. So black's on the run. The knight got his gun. I mean, these moves just win a piece. Black's up a piece. White's up a piece. Black has a modicum of compensation. I mean, he's got 2 passed pawns that are not dangerous. Okay, and the engine says like +2. And instead, he plays for tricks, but Vidit didn't realize tricks are for kids. Played this move, terrible, not taking the free knight, and now actually black's better. Yeah. So he played knight e5. I guess he missed that. I don't know. Asking me. And the reason this is good is because of a trick that's very hard to see. And white played this move, but if white plays the obvious, frankly, knight takes, and then says, hey, I'm up a piece. Look at me. Then bishop b3 is annoying. And probably when he played knight b6, he just missed that. He missed bishop b3 was strong. So now he saw bishop b3 was strong. So he played queen e3, but c'est pas différence. Knight c4. And if you want to win a piece, you have to take the queen. If you don't take the queen, you're just lost. 2 bishops, passed pawn, what else? You gotta take the queen. And then it's the same thing, and this is better for black. Rook b8, and actually, in this position, rook b8 is an error, which is easy. It's not easy to see why it's an error. Rook c6 is better. And after rook here, knight d7, maybe white's not lost. But knight d7 is not possible. I mean, it is possible, but knight d7 attacks the rook. So rook here was just more accurate. Okay, so they took the rooks. Bishop went to e2. Now, he could have played bishop a4, which is interesting because he's trying to trap the knight. But the engine says this is a little bit better. And this position is a two result position. Either black wins or it's a draw. Black needs to win to win the match, to tie the match and go into another playoff. Okay, so that's what happens. And I really, 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 really did not like black's technique at all. And if my student played like Adhiban, I'd be really mad. Okay, black should never trade pawns, ever. And as Vichy pointed out, the winning plan is to play f6, king here, g5, create a mating net, create a passed h-pawn. And Adhiban played insanely, in my opinion, but he still won. But this shouldn't be a difficult win. These pawns are all weak. The bishop is masterful. Black has a simple plan of checkmating his opponent or taking all these pawns. And instead he just traded everything. It's terrible. I've never been so angry. Okay, so first of all, I don't like that Black let White play knight takes e5. I don't like that. That bishop is fantastic. The engine says it's okay. It's not my cup of tea. Okay, and Black's still winning. And Vichy gave a really nice winning idea. Put the rook here and get the king on this side. I mean, you can't move your king over and stop it. This pawn's not defensible. You got to keep your king. After rook f6, you have to decide where to move your king. If you go to g2, here comes the king, just like in the game. And you want to have as many pawns as possible if you have Black. If there's no pawns on the board, it's a draw. Rook against bishop is a draw. And Adhiban trade all the pawns. Come on. Horrible. Okay, the engine says it's fine, but that's the wrong way of playing. And then when he played h4, I was even madder. That doesn't make any sense. And he's very lucky that he won this, because you don't know if you're winning. And what he should do is try to do the same kind of maneuver, put the rook on the g file, and then run that king over. And it's very hard to stop that because you got to stay on this pawn. So once the Black rook is on g5, we can run away like this. So h4 I thought was too soon. Now we weren't sure if it was a win or a draw. I'm still not sure. By the way, just for fun, because you got to have fun in life, the first engine move, which doesn't do anything, it's just funny, is bishop h3. Just because it's funny. Got to have fun in life. Doesn't change anything. Black still plays the same plan, but this is stalemate, which is funny. Bishop h3 is a move a human would consider. Okay, so they did nothing forever. So Anand was pretty happy. And I was like, why are you so happy? And Anand said to me, Black's doing Vishwa nothing. That's exactly what he said. All right. And you got to have patience. Guns N' Roses agreed. Yeah, we thought he was going to play rook f2 here, but he played rook e2, which also wins. Yeah, now the important question is what happens here. And then I just defend my pawn, and this pawn is not savable. So he has to go here, and eventually the king does get around, Beach Boys style. Round, round, get around. That king gets around, yeah. Anand was unhappy because Black was making too many boring moves and not doing his plan. But then he sort of liked what Black was doing because he was killing the bishop. The bishop can't go here, gets captured. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. And if it plays bishop d7, rook d8 wins the bishop. So the bishop was didn't have a plethora of squares. And then he shouldered him out. King takes. And this is an easy win. And I thought the win might take a long time. But that's only if the white king is over here. And the reason is, if my king is here, if it's not on e2, if it's on here, here, then if you play rook takes e4, I take the rook and play king e2 and it's a draw. But the king can't get back here. So now when you take on e4, you just win. So white had to get his king back here to make the win difficult. But now he just played here and then resigns. Because I go here, I go here, I go here. You could actually pre-move that. Yeah, you could pre-move this, this, and this, except they're playing on a real board, so you get in trouble if you pre-moved it. But yeah, after rook takes e4, and we take the rook and they take, white needs to play king e2 there. That's not going to happen. So this is the easiest win ever. It was 99 moves. And in a must-win game, Adhiban won. The day before, in a must-win game, Adhiban won. Adhiban's down 1-0 and he wins. He's down 1-0 and he wins. And now they got to play, playoffs. We're talking playoffs. So that was an amazing victory because it was very quick chess and black was squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And eventually he won. And these players are really evenly matched. I mean, Vidit's a better player in my opinion, but I think as the time gets quicker and quicker, Adhiban's pretty tricky. Adhiban's beaten a lot of 2,700 players in his life. Drew subscribed. Good. Go, Drew. Keto7 subscribed. Michal Kier, with Kier, rated with a party of 288. Go, Michelle, but stay there. Yeah. LJ Ganzi cheered 999. Did everybody give a shout out to Michelle? Anybody? Anyone? Aha, Mubak gave a shout out. Pretty good. Tensor extension. Oh, there we go. All right, last scene playing chess. Very good. That's a big raid. We love big raids. Ben's busy. I was busy. So it's funny. One of my favorite movie lines is, I was busy. And for some reason, my friend Aviv, that's one of his favorite movie lines. And nobody else in the world would know what that line's from except me and Aviv. It's just the way the line was given was great. Now, I've already told you where it was from, but you forgot. In the original 48 Hours, there's a scene where a guy gets out of jail and he goes to where his car is parked in a lot. The car's been parked there a long time because he's been in jail. So he gives the guy the ticket, and the guy says, "Your car's been here for 3 years?" And the guy says, "I've been busy." The way he said it was really funny. He was busy. So, yeah, there you go. Aviv good at movies? No. Terrible. Nick Nolte, yeah. Office Space, terrible. Anyway, he was busy. Thanks for the raid again, Michelle. Great. Don't forget to watch your stream and so forth. The last Michel that I knew played chess was Michel Jadul. And he's a guy. And he spells his name Michel. He's a Belgian IM. And not only is he an IM, which in the 80s was really good for Belgium. They had no GMs. So he was number 2 in Belgium, I think. He was also, as I've said earlier on many streams, but you forgot, he was at the famous soccer game in Belgium where some of the people didn't come home alive. He was at that game. He saw the violence. You guys know when that game was. It was sometime between like 84 and 87. I don't know. Somewhere in there. Famous game. So go Michel Jadul. Michel Jadul sont les mots qui vont très bien ensemble. Très bien ensemble. Go Michel Jadul. Delicious. Yeah, Hazel. That's right. Go Hazel. Man, you forgot some of the better cities like Liège. Is Liège underwater? Probably it's not a good city then. You forgot Ostend on the sea. They had good tournaments there. Yeah. I am from Belgium. That's correct. My son was born in Ixelles in Brussels at the Hospital d'Ixelles. Yeah, true story. I lived in Brussels for 4 years. God damn. Near the Avenue de la Toison d'Or, the Golden Goose. Man, our rent was cheap. The dollar was strong then. Go US dollar. Bruges is good. Yeah. And so forth. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yours. So next. Okay. So I thought Jeffrey Xiong was a genius. And I thought that before the tournament. And I say he's going to surprise you guys because you don't know how good he is. Thanks for the $5, Stewie Pegleg. I mean, you guys don't know a lot, but there's some 2,700 players that are better than other ones. They're going to go further, okay? And Jeffrey's one of them. Jeffrey's special. And in this position, as Jeffrey explained on our stream today, Jeffrey was the guest when he won the playoffs. This was yesterday, game 2 of the slow chess. Jeffrey lost the first game in 1 billion moves in a queen and pawn ending. At least 1 billion. Okay? And this
the second game, and Jeffrey had to win, and things didn't go his way. In this position, black has no problem drawing, and as Jeffrey so succinctly put it, he had 1 foot out the door. He was like, I'm definitely just going to draw this position, and I lose the match. And the match turned on a dime because Jeffrey's American, so he had a dime. Otherwise, would have lost the match. And this is what when I worked with Kaidanov before you guys were born, probably was before you guys were born, he was talking about cashing in, and sort of like on the Chappelle Show, when cashing in goes wrong. And people can't help themselves. They got to take shit. And in this position, any move is good for black. Any move. You could play A5, A4. You could put it in H, play H4 later, or to get a square for your bishop, or just to get your king more space. You could play Queen D3 to inch forward. But Nils had all he could stand. He can't stand no more. He had to get his material back. So he took that. That is a blunder. And he's like, yeah, I got my pawn back. And according to Jeffrey, Nils was just super confident that he wasn't going to lose, so he wanted to draw the game immediately. And after Queen E3, this is where I was choking on my own rage, because it's actually insulting to play Bishop D4 here. It's an insult. If Bishop D4 was a good move, Jeffrey wouldn't have played Queen F2 to E3. That's just stupid. So in this position, white is probably already winning because the king is too weak. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. So Jeffrey just set a trap, and Nils fell right into it. Now, I understand not seeing what white did. I understand that. What I don't understand is not seeing what white did after white allowed it. Now, if I'm playing Rufus and Doofus, I figure Bishop D4 is good because my opponent's Rufus and Doofus. They let me play good moves all the time. But if I'm playing Jeffrey or somebody like that, I'm like, why is this player who's much better than me allowing Bishop D4? And so here, white's probably already winning, probably. But this loses the game instantly. And the reason it loses is beautiful. Beautiful. Frankly, delicious. You check, and then after King H7, you will know Jeffrey's name is the Lord when he plays Bishop E5. God damn! This is actually very funny. The funny thing is, here's the engine line for black. The reason it's funny is because of a move white would make. That's why it's funny. The engine line is check, check, check. And the engine says this is by far the best move. Much better than taking the queen. Now, taking the queen wins instantly, but this is better. Professional athletes always want more. The only move that doesn't hang mate is this. And now, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is the best move, but so is this. Always repeat. And then here. Okay. So I understand missing Bishop E5. I understand. I don't understand when you're playing a 2700, then missing Bishop E5. Because the game's over. It's over. Nothing you can do. You get mated. So he played this, and then he resigned. That's it. So Jeffrey went from completely equal, no winning chances, to just winning in 3 moves with forced mate. Because Grandelius, Bishop C3, Bishop B, both blunders. Blunderful. And one thing I told my students when I taught a lot, you can never blunder. You can play as bad as you want. You can play all bad strategical, positional, not know the opening. play terrible. I don't care. But if you hang a queen, if you hang mate, if you hang a rook, you can't do that. You can't blunder where the game's over. You can only make bad moves where you're worse. That's fine. People lose when they're worse all the time. They don't lose when they hang mate and when they hang their queen. Then they lose. They don't win anymore. So he resigned here, and then probably he was very upset because he has to play playoffs the next day, and this game was in hand. He was better, if anything, and then he just lost the game immediately because he missed bishop e5. You miss one move in chess, you get the smackdown, and so forth. Yeah. Go Nils. Yeah. Juka OOP subscribed. He's done with OOP. Lead chess, never heard of it, but thanks. 500 centidues, Fen Beingold. That's right, Luther. Yeah. Go Luther. His name was Luther in the movie in 48 Hours. His name was Luther. Yeah. All right. Look, Anand is better than me at chess, but my house is nicer than his. True story. White h7, why not king g7? That loses even quicker. Silonem shows. Bam! This was first played in the game Gotcha versus Bitch. Yeah, I mean, it resigns. It's the same but worse. It's check, so it's even easier. Man, I'm trying to imagine when this happened, how Grandelius felt. He was like, yay, I'm winning the match. Oh. Frankly, terrible. Yeah. And so forth. All right, next. Okay, this was today, and we were looking at the game a little bit, but we missed this part. This game was always about equal, and I think at some points it said white was better or black was better, but always sort of in the draw range, right? And then Grandelius made the worst move in chess history and lost. Now here, every move is equal. The engine likes queen d1 because the knight's pinned, or queen e1, that's okay. But yeah, the knight's pinned. So, you don't want the knight to be pinned. And he agreed, didn't want the knight to be pinned, so he played queen e3. Now the knight's not pinned. And by the way, he's threatening this. Now, there's two possibilities. He didn't see the next move at all, or he missed the Zwischenzug, bishop takes d3. If we're going to be nice, I'm going to say he missed the Zwischenzug. If we're going to be mean, he missed g5. I don't think he missed g5. I think he missed the in-between move. I think he missed the intermezzo. So queen e3 traps his bishop. So now g5 wins. Now obviously, bishop here is frankly ridiculous. You just attack the bishop and it's trapped. There's like a lot of ways to attack the bishop and it's trapped. And thanks Lancer Ulysses, thanks Frat God 99. Now from White's point of view, maybe he saw g5. I'm going to say that he did. And he thought, take, take, take. And if fg, knight e5 check wins the queen. And not only do I think he saw that, he played it. So I think he saw it. And you don't take the bishop. You just take the knight here. And there's no knight e5 check. So black's up a piece. So again, for Grandelius, those blunders in consecutive games, that's not, you can't do that. You can do it against you guys. I can do it against you guys, and I will, but you can't do it against Jeffrey Xiong. You can't play 2,700 players and make one-move blunders every game. What is he, Steinitz? Terrible. Yeah. Okay, so the game continued. And, he's down a piece. So that's bad. By the way, if you want to blunder again, if you do, I'm not saying, but if you do, god damn. So that would be bad. Okay, so king c2 threatening the pawn. Right, now, this is too hard for like half of you in the chat, but for half of you, it would be a good learning experience. When you're up a piece, it doesn't matter how many pawns your opponent has. You're up a piece. So a grandmaster would never say, black's up a piece, but white has 2 pawns. That's what you would say. A grandmaster would say, black is up a piece. Now, if white was getting 4 queens, then a grandmaster would say, black's up a piece, but white's getting 4 queens. So if these pawns were here for white, okay, then all right. But there's no passed pawns for white. So that's just lost. You got to have passed pawns, and they have to be dangerous. There are no passed pawns, and if there were, they wouldn't be dangerous. So the only drawing chances white has is the king is somewhat open, so maybe perpetual, but he's playing Jeffrey, he's not playing Doofus. Okay, now white's trying to trade all the pawns because queen and bishop versus queen is a draw. So the less pawns on the board, the harder it is to win. And as you know, I'm a really big Jeffrey Xiong fan. So if anybody's going to win, going to be Jeffrey. He's trying to trade more pawns. That move's a mistake because of a4. And I think he didn't see a4. He probably thought, you can't play a4 because I'll play queen takes d5 check. On the other hand, if you play this blunder, I check, and this is a draw because queen and bishop versus queen is a draw. Yeah, the engine just says all zeros. What black's not better. So you can't take this, but this move just wins. The game's over now. c4 is just a blunder. It's not a good fighting spirit when you have a bad position and you just lose right away. You got to last a long time and hope that Jeffrey blunders in time trouble. And he continued to blunder. So I think he was just really mad that his queen e3, g5 didn't work. Maybe he missed bishop takes d3. Maybe he missed g5. And he was furious because the game was just equal and he just lost it in one move. Challenger 38 subscribed. So he should play c5 and lose slowly, but he did that, which is absurd. Ridiculous, right? And this is, the game's over. I mean, that's ridiculous. To give yourself no chance. Yeah, I mean, bishop goes here and the king takes all the pawns. The worst pawns ever. Now, you guys at home who are not grandmasters, you're like, oh, 3 pawns for a piece, it's equal. Now, if you asked me, if I was Nils' coach, and he said, are you mad at me because I lost? I would say, no, I'm mad at you because you made a mistake, which is fine, and then you gave up. You had a position with some drawing chances, and if you lose, it would take 1,000 moves, just like when he beat Jeffrey yesterday. It takes 1,000 moves, and he won. And this takes black 1,000 moves to win, and Nils just loses in like 4 moves. Right, this position, I mean, black just played king d8. That's not like black's winning. Black's playing random legal move. White could play random legal move and try to draw. And in my opinion, if a 2700 was what was black here against, Stockfish 14, Stockfish 14 is not going to lose with white. That's my opinion. And he lost immediately. That's not fighting spirit. That's ridiculous. Right? A4 is a really good move, by the way. And then he lost immediately again. C5, the game goes on and he's losing. Here there's no game. Now he could resign, but he resigned a little later. All right. I don't even know what F5 and B4 are. What? All right. And this is the right colored bishop. So we just take all the pawns and then we win. And the engine announce is made here. So I can't believe not putting up a fight in this position. Terrible move, resigns. That's not how, It's a knockout event. You can't do that. When you're worse, you got to fight like a dog and die like a dog, like maybe my dog will. You can't just like, oh, I can't resign. I made a mistake. Jeffrey yesterday was lost for 80 moves. That didn't stop him from playing the best move every move and setting his opponent a lot of problems, and I guess making his older opponent exhausted, I guess. I don't know. Terrible. By the way, I did get a good Kasparov jab in with Anand on the stream. That was good. Yeah. Okay, so next. This was played yesterday. This was one of the most famous games of the round, and I didn't really fully understand what was going on. I didn't understand. I knew Black had a good position here. Now, the engine says Black has a really good position, which I suspected, and the most obvious move just wins. And in fact, it's the only move the engine likes. It's queen takes h7. And then it says Black's +3. I mean, I got 3 passed pawns. I got my knights are fantastic. My king is defending every square, along with my knight. All these squares are protected twice, right? All of them. And so we got a passed pawn coming. We got queen d. Okay, so after queen takes here, there's no counterplay for white. You stop rook e4. You defend the pawn on c2 again. And if Black wanted to, if White starts checking, Black could just let him check. Because, I mean, Black could win by moving his king back, but he won the first game, Praggnanandhaa, and then some. And so he just needs a draw to win the match. So after queen takes h7, there's just no way to lose. There's no winning chances for White, and Black's winning. And he made a horrible blunder, and I know why he did. I know why he did it. He played knight f4. He played knight f4 because next move, he wants to play knight d3. I don't blame him. Knight d3 is good. Attacks the queen, attacks the rook, and defends c1. So I can't argue with wanting to play that move. I agree. And his analysis was probably rook e4, knight h3 check, and if you take the knight, then I make a queen, because my queen defends. That's why he didn't play queen h7. He wanted his queen to defend c1. And this is the engine line. Black's up a queen, and we just go here, and the pawn is indefensible, and we have a pass b pawn, pass c pawn, we're up a queen, the engine says Black wins. So probably Praggnanandhaa said, I'm threatening this, and this loses to knight check and queen. So Praggnanandhaa's like, great. And then Krasenkow made the move he didn't see. I mean, Krasenkow was an old man before Praggnanandhaa was born. He stopped the pawn queening and the queen taking by queening his own pawn. And here Praggnanandhaa realized what he did. He distracted the queen not only from c1, but from defending the knight. So now after queen takes queen, rook e4, it's over. The knight on d4 is attacked, the knight on f4 is attacked, and another winning move because of the position is the pawn on c2 is attacked because this is pinned, which doesn't really matter because I'm going to take one of your knights. So he just missed queen and then rook e4. Queen is really funny. You're making the queen on h6 go away from the knight and the c1 square. So it's h1, ha queen is brilliant. Okay, and the game finished this way. And resigns. All right. It's up a bishop and so forth. And because of that game that was played yesterday, we had to go into tie breaks today. So Praggnanandhaa won the first game. He was winning this game. He blundered with knight f4 and lost. As a consequence, he had to play today, but today was good for him. Okay, now we talked about this game very, very, very briefly. And all we knew was the result. If Anand and Danny and I saw this on the stream, we would need therapy. Okay, now let me set the stage. Wojtaszek won the first game with Black. this is the second game, and he has white. So if he draws, he wins the match. And he's getting crushed. Wojtaszek is resignable. Okay, black's queening this. Black's up 1,000 pawns. The bishop is not only bad, but it's pinned. So the engine says like plus 1,000 for black. Like the engine says, why didn't black resign? And, I'm sorry, why didn't white resign? And if Matlakov wins, like he should, then it's a tied match, and they go to the next series of matches. And here, Matlakov made the worst move in the World Cup. And we didn't see it. We never saw it on the stream, because, there's 50 games to look at. This is the worst move Matlakov has ever played in his life. And you guys are like, oh, you're being mean to Matlakov. When I show you the move, you'd be like, oh. I mean, I don't know what to say. Matlakov's about 2,700. And we didn't know that he did this. Otherwise, Vichy and Danny Wrench would be choking on their rage. And I don't know if Vichy even knows now, if he knows like that this happened. I don't know. Okay. So black played Queen F2. He wants to play Queen G3 check, trading queens, and then make a queen. And after Knight G5 check, he resigned. And the match is over in one move. So he's +6, +7, Queen F2, he resigns. I can't believe Matlakov played Queen F2. Especially since 95 check also wins. That's ridiculous. That's the worst move in the tournament. Because not only does it blunder a queen, he's completely winning. And he needs to win to tie the match. So he's tying the match with any move that's reasonable, and he hangs the queen and the match is over. 2,700s don't hang their queen. I mean, that's ridiculous. You don't get to 2,700 by doing that. That's not how you do it. So that's crazy. It's even weird for Wojtaszek. He's like, what? I was about to get in some playoffs. What happened? It's weird when your opponent does that when they're, 26, 27, 2,800. If I'm playing 1 minute chess against a 1,300, all right, they play Queen F2, and okay. But 2,700, god damn. Yeah. It was a mouse slip, and they weren't using a mouse. That's the funny part. Yeah. I mean, that lost the match. Now, you guys usually don't understand the pressure the player's under. One of the pressures the players have is they know if they make a bad move, their tournament's over. If you play in a 5-round Swiss or 7-round Swiss or a 9-round Swiss, if you make a bad move, you, the viewers, you're probably not playing at 2,700. You're probably playing, some friend of yours who's a doofus. So if you make a bad move, you can probably get away with it. And another bad move and another bad move. You can probably do whatever you want and still win. And if you lose, because you made a bad move, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 more rounds in the tournament. But these guys know they make a bad move, their opponent's going to give them the smackdown. And the tournament's over. It's a knockout. And technically could cost them tens of thousands of dollars. So there's a lot of pressure they feel to not make a blunder. And then when they blunder, then we make fun of them. Harsh. Yeah. Terrible. Is it possible he'd want to progress to the tournament? No, that's not possible. He wouldn't play in the tournament, and that move cost him potentially like $50,000. Potentially. It could have cost him nothing because maybe he would have won the game and lost the playoffs. But if he won the game and won the playoffs and then won his next match, he can win the World Cup. So hypothetically, it's not hypothetical, but technically, it's not true, but it could be true. It's not true, but it could be true. That move could have cost him the world championship. Okay, Matlakov is not going to play in the candidates now. If he won that game, he might have played in the candidates. Probably not, but maybe. And he might have won the candidates. Probably not, but maybe. Then he would have won the world championship. Probably not, but maybe. So the upside of winning the World Cup and winning the candidates is you can become the world champion. But now, that's it. So that could have been the worst thing that ever happened in his life. In an alternate universe, he won that game, and maybe he became world champion. Now, he didn't, but it could have. So you don't know what it cost you when you blunder because you don't know how far you would have gone. You don't know. Yeah. Terrible. Moses34 subscribed. Yeah, now, when you guys blunder, you're like, well, okay, I blundered last game. Okay, and I blundered 2 games ago, and my opponent made a bigger blunder, so I won. But when you're 2,700 and you blunder, you don't forget. Okay, in 40 years, if he's alive, he'll remember Queen F2. I played Bishop F1 in the U.S. Championship in Seattle about 2002. And that hung my bishop to Queen A1 check, Queen takes bishop. That's the worst thing and I wanted to play Bishop G2, which then I'm better, and I thought Bishop F1 was more accurate. It just hangs my bishop to a skewer in the U.S. Championship. Now, let me tell you the worst thing that's ever happened ever that wasn't a world championship. Lone Pine, probably around 1979. I'm within a year or two. Ginjahashvili started the tournament with a loss and 2 draws. And he won his next 5 games against very good players. Lone Pine was strong. The last round, he's playing Albert. And Gingy wants a draw, and Gingy wants to make a deal. And Albert just came to the U.S., and he's like, I want to make myself a name for myself. Later, Albert became 3-time U.S. champion, but that's after. So Albert played. And Albert has a great position. He's going to win or draw. And then on move 40, I think, he makes the worst move in chess history, like Queen F2. Not that bad. And he ends up losing. And the winner of the tournament, now remember, this is about 1979. I'm within a year. Wins $15,000. In today's money, that's like $70 billion. You didn't win $15,000 in an open tournament in 1979. You did not. This tournament had like 60 grandmasters from all over the world because $15,000 is a lot of money in 1979. God damn. Anyway, so Albert lost, and he ended up winning something like $1,000. So the move he made cost him like $14,000. And then Gingy won the tournament clear first. After losing and drawing 2, he won his next 6. Now, luckily for Albert, he was winning U.S. championships right and left in the 80s. So, okay, happy ending. But, god damn. You guys are mad when you lose $5 in a tournament. You're like, no, that guy won. I would have won $20. Now I win $15. Admit it. And then, these guys, you lose a world championship match because of a blunder. That could cost you millions. Terrible. Okay. Now, this I was really impressed with. Marchrosian was squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and hugging and squeezing my little bunny rabbit. In this position, I was very impressed with the move Rookie 3-check. Because at first you're like, well, that's just a draw. And then I decided, when analyzing it, I said, probably it's more likely black will win than draw. And then Danny agreed. Now, the engine says black's only up like 0.5, but I think you're going to win in the long run. In the long run, you're going to, move up after 30, 40 moves, and eventually you win this. So my feeling here was, even though white is Mamedyarov, that black was going to win. Now, it might take 70 moves, and it did, but Okay, now this is move 74, so it only took 17 moves to win. And just very slowly and methodically putting his knight on the right square, forcing the king back, forcing the pawn to h5. You can't let him take it. And then we do it. Then we put the king on g5, keeping the bishop to defend the pawn. Okay, then we make the knight move some other squares. The bishop just has to stay on the h-pawn. Now the bishop has trouble, obviously. Yeah. And it was just very smooth. It was just a very smooth victory for black against a guy who's really good. And I was really impressed with the next move. Now, the reason I'm impressed is that every move wins, and this move is easily the best. So when every move wins, it's unusual that a GM makes the most accurate one. That's a computer thing. So any knight move wins, f2 wins, it all wins. But he played this move, which is brilliant. The reason it's brilliant is it's not really near the action. You'd think like, why is the knight going here? The knight blocks the diagonal. So if it's black's move, not only does this win a bishop, but easier is f2. f2, f1. How do you stop f2, f1? You can play bishop here or bishop here, which does stop f2 and f1. If f2, you take the knight. Fortunately, both moves lose the bishop to knight d6. So if you can't go here and you can't go here, this guy's going here. And there's no stopping him. That's it. You can't stop it. So after knight c4, Mamedyarov immediately resigned. Because bishop f7 loses the bishop, bishop b5 loses the bishop, and otherwise this queens. So knight c4, if black played another move, the engine's like +3, +4. Now it's like plus a billion. Because you're going to queen by force. So very nice technique from the lower rated player against the much higher rated player. I've been told this guy's killing it on chess.com. He plays in Title Tuesday. He won Gibraltar a couple years ago. This guy's going up, up, up. So, I mean, and he won the match. He drew Mamedyarov the next game. Yeah. No, there's no cheating. A serial cheater, you're talking about somebody else. You're confusing the different players. Okay. Truth hurts. Well, I didn't say anything to Magnus or Vichy, but yes. Top players, not Magnus and Vichy, but other top players are very concerned with their rating. So they try to play in tournaments that can't hurt their rating. They try. And the way to do that is to play people your own rating who don't mind having quick draws. Then your rating just doesn't change. Now, if 2750 pluses only play 2600s, 2620, 2640, they got to win a lot. If they have 5 or 6 draws in a row, they lose 10, 15 points. You got to win. And if you lose, it's even worse. If you're Geary and you lose to Grishuk and you're like, no, my rating, and then you beat MVL, you're back to even. But if you're playing 2630s, you can't be drawing and losing. So they avoid playing them. And that's why a lot of the top players don't play in the Olympiad, or they try not to. Because the Olympiad, they're playing people 100, 200, 300 points less than their rating. If you're Magnus, or Vichy, or MVL, or Grishuk, or Wesley, or Fabi, you're paired down every round 100, 200 points. And you got to win those games. If it's draw, 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 your rating goes down. And they don't want to play where they have to win, as Magnus discussed in our interview a couple days ago, or yesterday. He's like, well, I like playing the guys I know, and, if we draw, it's okay. And then I beat him sometimes. Not like I have to go 7-0 or I lose rating points. That's not what he's looking for. He doesn't want to force the action where he has to play crazy to win if he has the black pieces. If he wins and draws half and half, that's fine. If Magnus plays in a 9-round tournament and has 4 wins and 5 draws, great. But if he plays in a tournament with people like me, he's got to go 8-1 or 8.5-half, or his rating is going to go down. And that's unpleasant. You don't want to be forced to win every game. You want to, got to relax a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And This, I didn't see the game except at various points. I didn't see like the game as a game. I saw like this position and that position. So like every 30 moves, I'd see a position. And I didn't realize Sam Shanklin was doing badly. Now, this is the last game of this match. This was their second game today. The first game was a draw. I think all their games were draws, except this one. And Shanklin interviewed after the match, not by us, said, yeah, I should have lost this match. I got outplayed this match. This position, which is very good for White, the engine says +2. White didn't do well. And obviously, when your opponent has a pawn on the 7th rank and you both have less than 2 minutes, even if you have a good position, sometimes you make a mistake. Okay, and the engine says White's up 2 by playing queen d8 check. Queen c6 is +1. Queen d7 is +1. Because, you can keep the pawn under. But he played bishop c2 to keep the pawn, it's a defensive move because this pawn's not defended. The bishop isn't as good. And now the engine actually says it's equal. So that move actually throws away the win. King g5, which the engine said is a blunder. Queen e6 check draws. Now, Shanklin's probably playing for a win. Okay, he's probably trying to get his king down here and get these pawns going. And in this position, White played queen f7, which is a blunder. And after queen c6, defending this pawn, the problem is if you play king h4, which is what he eventually did, you can't do it here because queen f6 check. And when I say you can't do it here, the engine actually plays king h4. It just says black's completely lost here because White's threatening queen g6 check, and after king here, queen g4 mate. So the only moves that stop mate are king here and bishop here. Those are the only moves that stop mate. That just hangs a bishop. So this is the only move. Queen f6, queen f8, and White's up a piece. And it says like +3. Black has some practical chances, but black's down a piece. So king g5 is a blunder. They're in time trouble. Queen c6, exclam, defending the pawn and threatening mate in 2. And if king here, this wins the bishop. So that's an excellent move that he missed. He played queen f7, and now after queen takes f3, it's a draw. And probably he missed this because the bishop was attacked. But obviously it's forced because I'm threatening queen here check and queen here mate. So taking this advanced pawn, giving black an advanced pawn and stopping mate, that's a good move. And now it's a draw again. Queen f5 is a mistake, forcing the king where it wants to go. Queen d7 is the best move, then it's a draw. Opposite bishop, same pawns. Okay, and that's another mistake. Queen d5 check, very good. Queen takes. And now, this is very important. Black has one move that wins and every other move loses. Possibly, when he played queen f8, since he was in time trouble, he missed this. Possibly. Queen check, and he's like, ha-ha! Here, I win. And he forgot, maybe, that black doesn't play queen takes d1, he plays this check. And now black's probably winning. Probably. Because that pawn's good, these pawns are not. Now, there was a game played a long time ago. I'm going to say 87, but I could be 2 years off. Nikolic and Sarawan. I forgot which color they had. But the game ended in a draw. It was queen and 4 pawns versus queen and 1. And Yasser had the 1, and that pawn was advanced. And the 4 pawns were not. So Yasser drew easily. White was given perpetual. And this is similar, except White has 2 pawns. It doesn't matter how many pawns you have. If one of the pawns queens and the other ones don't, then... So queen d2 check is an excellent move. Probably he missed it in time trouble. And now black's playing for the win. And probably it's a win. Because these pawns don't do anything. This pawn's either going to queen or it's not. And it looks like it's going to queen. And when you have no time, you can't draw these positions when they're bad like that. By the way, f2 is a funny blunder because you take the queen. Damn. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, and this is the position we started at when we started analyzing the game on the stream. I just assumed here, because you got protection, but Sam correctly found this because this is good protection too. There's no checks on the A and B line. There's no checks here. So once the king goes to B1, there's no checks because of queen C2. So this move wins immediately. And then resigns. I think he didn't resign though, but he should. Yeah, check and then he resigned. Because queen. So that was an amazing turnaround. All the games were drawn. Sam was much worse or losing the last 40 moves of that game. And then they both kept making mistakes. And the passed F pawn was winning. So Sam won. Sam goes to the next round. There's 2 Americans left, Sam and Jeffrey. Carissa Yip lost the tie break today in the first tie break. So she's out. And there's 2 Americans left in all the sections. Sam Shankland and Jeffrey Xiong. And all the other Americans are gone. And I think there's 32 people left. But if there's 16, then I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. There's either 32 or 16 in the open. I don't know. Drew gifted 5 subs. Hooray. Also has a beard. Right. Also what? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nikolic, Sarawan, 1995? I thought it was before that. But, obviously you're right. No, it was a draw. It wasn't a win. The game ended in a draw. That's why that's the wrong game. Yeah. These guys have played a lot. Nikolic and Sarawan have played each other 10 times. Thanks, Drew. You're the best. Hooray. And so forth. Do not ask and ye shall not receive. Hooray. Let's see. Karen said, I'm here. Yay. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Nils feels unbearable pain. Yeah, the truth hurts. Yeah. By the way, somebody on YouTube explained to me, says, oh, you're looking at it wrong, Ben. If Tyson, for example, in his prime, was boxing Conor McGregor, and they were both boxing, then Tyson would win. But if they were doing MMA, then Conor would win. So I said, if Tyson in his prime fought Conor McGregor would have a baseball bat, and I'm betting on Tyson. And I'm not kidding. If Conor McGregor had a bat, I would bet on Mike Tyson. And if he doesn't have a bat, he just has to run away and hope that Tyson doesn't catch him. He has to run out of the stadium and get in a car and drive away. Thinking that he can do MMA stuff and he will get knocked unconscious in one punch is ridiculous. I've never been so mad. I'm always a little mad. God damn. Yeah, maybe with a chainsaw, maybe Conor McGregor would have a chance. I doubt it. Yeah, obviously, if MMA people fight boxers, they find terrible boxers. They got to make it competitive. Yeah. Yeah, Tyson would go to jail for murder if he was fighting MMA guys. I mean, obviously, Tyson's in his 50s now, but I still bet on him. But in his prime, god damn. In his prime, they wouldn't fight him with a bat. With a chainsaw, maybe. But you don't want Tyson punching you in his prime. You don't want that. You want guys who can't hit at all to punch you, like Conor McGregor. That's what you want. Man, Tyson in his prime. God damn. I mean, if I would last 1 second. Ridiculous. Yeah, you can't get punched by Mike Tyson, And if you do, you have to be a really good boxer and try to stop the punch and hold him and, grab him. And, you can't just be like, I know how to box too. Boo, boo. Terrible. Formerly 5IT subscribed. Tyson would bite his ear even if it wasn't MMA. MMA might be illegal. I don't know. No. Andre the Giant with a helmet. Man, Andre the Giant could barely move. God damn. He had like back surgery, and then he was in The Princess Bride, and the stuff that he did in the movie that like I could do, he couldn't do it. Like, he couldn't carry people on his back, which you saw, because they weren't on his back, they were standing on stuff. His back hurt too much. Yeah. I mean, he could barely move. Fight Tyson, Yeah, again, you guys are all tricked because you think boxing is fake. It's a little fake. And you think MMA is not fake? God damn. And, people who are good, they're boxers. They're not these idiots. God damn. I mean, idiots just rule the day in our world now. The idiots have spoken. I mean, that's the way it's going. It used to be, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, if you were an idiot, you were embarrassed that you were an idiot. You knew that you were an idiot. And then people who were not idiots either were nice or they were mean like me and would call you out for being idiots. Me and Dominic and, those kind of people. Hikaru. But then there's nice people like Eric Rose who say, you're not an idiot. You're good. And Bartholomew. Okay, but nowadays the idiots rule. They rule. There's more of them. So when somebody smart says something, 20 idiots say no, and there's more of us, so we're right. That's the world now. The world now is run by idiots. It used to be embarrassing, and now it's like, yes, I'm in the majority now. Horrible. Yay! 300 centidues. Thanks, Fly Half. Never heard of Chessable. Yeah. Right. When somebody says, did you see Space Jam 2? It's probably kidding. But the fact that Space Jam 2 was made proves my point that idiots rule the world. It proves it. The fact that Space Jam 2 was made. I mean, that's just amazing. I can't believe the movie was made. God damn. 100 centidues. Thanks, Mobius. Yeah. Truth hurts. God damn. Yeah. What's wrong with Space Jam 2? The idiots are taking over. No. Yeah, this is why we can't have good things anymore. You know where idiots don't rule? Do you know where? On the chessboard. And here's what idiots do. They all do it on the chessboard. Oh, I'm underrated. Oh, I should be 1900. That 1500 rating, that's because I'm out of practice and I had surgery and my mom died and I didn't sleep that night and I took too much, drugs the night before and I was drunk. But I'm actually 1900 strength. I'm not really 1100. Nobody's their rating. Everybody's 800 points better than their rating. That's the world I live in. Drew gifted 10 subs. Now, I used to give lessons to a kid whose parents were both lawyers. And the mom said to me, this is 30 years ago. The mom said, everybody in the world is incompetent. You just have to hope that your doctors are the least incompetent. By the way, go look this up after the stream or during the stream, doesn't matter. Today or yesterday, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, there was a hearing and Rand Paul and Fauci went at it. And I didn't see what Rand Paul said. I just saw Fauci's response to one of the things. And he said, God, what did he say? It was so funny. He said, Mr. or Senator Paul, says, you don't know what you're talking about. And let me be clear, I want this on the record. You don't know what you're talking about. Or you have no idea what you're talking about, something like that. Let me say that again. Now, you remember in South Park when he says, suck my balls or something, and Mr. Garrison says, what did you say? And he says, oh, I'm sorry. Then he gets a megaphone, and he says it really loud in the megaphone. Because, he didn't hear him. And so Fauci did that. Fauci's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me put this on the record. You don't know what you're talking about. That was great. God damn. It's just like Cartman. Oh, you didn't hear me? Usually, when somebody who's testifying is saying mean things to the senators, they cut him off. Like, he's like, look, you don't know. And then, usually they would just cut him off and say, stop making fun of me. That was great. Drew gifted 10 subs. Hooray. Yeah, Kobe. Being dead doesn't matter anymore. If you saw one of the latest Star Trek movies, or Star Wars, I'm sorry. If you saw one of the latest Star Wars movies, I don't know which one of the last two. One of the stars of the movie has been dead for 25 years. And he was in the movie for at least 20 minutes. They just, made him up. And his family had to agree to it or something. One of the generals. He's been dead forever. But he was the star of the movie. 400 Centadu, Xenoid, etc. Like a third cousin. You don't know anything. Yeah, Fauci was mad because he got to talk to these idiots all day. I mean, now, there's two kinds of Republicans who are in the Senate and the House. One kind are insane, idiotic, stupid. The others are liars. They say falsehoods that kill people for benefit. If I say this thing that's wrong and people die, it'll help me in the long run. So what's worse? That your senator is the stupidest person who ever lived? Or they lie, killing people because it helps them? What's worse? And I don't know which is which. Do the stupid Republicans, sorry for being redundant, do they believe what they're saying? I think half do, and half are just I got to say this because I need the gawking rabble to vote for me. I got to get Trump to like me. God damn. Does Trump believe what he says? Any of it? I don't know. Does that crazy woman believe what she says? The one who has a title, but she's crazy. Who's the woman who goes on TV saying nutty things? She's a lawyer from University of Michigan. She got a law degree from University of Michigan. Then she just went to say crazy things for 20 years. Who am I thinking of? Anybody? Come on, who am I thinking of? Michigan should give it to you there. Yay, Drew gave 5 subs. No, she's old school. Robert E630. Ann Coulter. Most people I know think Ann Coulter doesn't believe what she says. She's like, what can I say so I make money and go on TV and get high ratings? And then she says it. I mean, you just don't know. It's unclear what people believe. Now, when I'm streaming and I say shit, that's because I believe it. That's why some people like my stream. Most people don't, but some do. Because when I say shit, that's the shit, that's what I'm talking about. Right? I'm not like, what's popular? What should I say so that people like me? And fuck all you guys. I don't care what you guys think. God damn. Ann Coulter, Tucker Carlson. Do the people on Fox News believe what they say? The people who are just, crazy people? I don't know. 200 Centuries, Curious Chimpanzee. Thank you. Hey, if you don't like what I say, then watch somebody else who says stuff you like. There's a lot of people who are, insane, Republican, conservative, Nazi, horrible people. And if that's your philosophy, we'll go watch them. There's no problem with that. If you like them, watch them. You shouldn't watch people you hate and then say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Watch people you like and say, yay, you're the best. Go Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm as stupid as you are. Just kidding. Nobody is. Like that. But somehow, people watch stuff they hate and they say, I hate it. There's nothing wrong with hating me. What's wrong is you hate me and you watch me incessantly. That's the problem. If you thought Ricky Gervais was the worst comedian of all time because you have brain damage, why would you watch Ricky Gervais and say this is terrible? Why don't you watch somebody you like? Terrible. Also, get that brain damage checked out. Get that checked out because you need, you could need some help, etc. All right, I hope you guys learned a lot. I know I did, etc. Why do people go on YouTube and say, I hate this guy, I hate this channel, next stream, I hate this guy, I hate this channel? What? Why are you watching it? Watch something you don't hate. Hate, 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 hate. If you want to learn how to hate, instead of watching things you don't like, watch the Chappelle Show, watch the Play a Hate His Ball, and learn how to hate properly. Terrible. All right. It's not opposing views. Republicans don't have views. Nazis don't have views. They just lie. That's not a view. Lying isn't a view. A view is, I like the St. Louis Chess Club. The other guy says, that chess club's okay, but I prefer the Charlotte Chess Club. Okay, that's a view. Okay, saying things that are just lies, that's not a view. That's just you're really stupid or you're a liar. And Republicans, it's hard to tell. It's not clear which, where they're coming from. A lot of people think Ann Coulter's just, I'll say this bullshit because people like it. And maybe like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, maybe they believe the insane things they're saying. I don't know. I believe what I say. So if you don't agree with me, that's okay. But if you're saying things you don't believe for reasons other than saying the truth, then yeah, that's the worst. Terrible. By the way, many, many years ago, I asked a friend of mine, who's worse, Michelle Bachmann, or it might have been Ann Coulter, or it might have been some other stupid person on Fox News. And they said, who was the first woman I named? It's been a while. It's been like 5 seconds. They said, she's worse because she believes what she says. The other people, I don't know. Is it worse if you say insane things and you believe them, or if you're just lying and you're a liar? I don't know. Terrible. Anyway, you're all the worst, but I love you. Because, somebody has to watch my channel. All right, we're off Chess TV probably. I have to raid somebody. They raided me and they're streaming him. It's probably somebody else. Indeed. Offline, terrible, etc. Canty just came on. Are you guys lying to me? Anybody? What's the worst city in the U.S.? There's probably too many candidates. But it's probably either in Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, or Texas. It's got to be a city in there I've never heard of. That's one of those has to be the worst. One of them. I don't know which one, but it's going to be in one of those states. That's going to be the worst. I've actually never been to Mississippi, ever. Never. Pensacola. Yeah, no, Austin's probably the best city. Yeah, St. Louis isn't the crime capital of the USA. That's because of the way the FBI does statistics, and St. Louis reports all this nonsense they don't have to, and other cities don't. So it pads their stats. I've known police officers who have worked in Detroit and St. Louis. They like St. Louis. They don't like Detroit. And I've lived in both places. Detroit's not good. There's good and there's not good. It's not good. Also, probably, maybe not now, maybe, Baltimore is not the best city in the world. Not the best. Yeah. Yeah, somebody said Baltimore. Yeah. Louisiana is not a city. Yeah, Gary has to be terrible. Tampa has to be terrible. Yeah. All right. You're banned and your children's children are banned. Yeah, liberal is the only thing good about a city. Yeah. Go Detroit. Okay, so who am I rating? Canty. All right. See you guys tomorrow. There's no chess tomorrow in the, whatever it is. The World Cup. The day off. Nobody's playing. There's no World Cup tomorrow. It's not because we're not covering it. It's a rest day. Nobody's playing. So, I don't know if I'm doing my class tomorrow night. I'm not sure what Karen set up. There might be a class tomorrow night on Zoom. There might not be. I don't know. Only Karen knows. And she ain't telling me. Yeah. I'll do something tomorrow. I just don't know what. Yeah. Etc. All right. Thanks for donating and watching and complaining and hating. Hate. Don't forget, watch all the new Ricks and or Mortys. There's been 5 episodes this season so far. Go back and watch them. See ya. Bye.